Hi Chantal.
Hello, Lina.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
You're a very busy woman.
Well, certainly there's a lot of pieces here, yes?
Congratulations, you have just won
Yes.
the Karsh award.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Oh, I'm so happy. It was a great surprise, and I'm very honored to receive that prize, that's for sure.
And the theme of this show is...
I'm showing work from starting from 1998 to now, 2014.
It's like a retrospective.
Well, I don't think I'd call it retrospective. It is kind of a little piece, not many pieces from each series, but definitely I thought it would give an idea of where I come from 1998 and how I was working, what I was doing up to now. And you'll notice this quite distinct body of work as we go through. As you'll notice, I take a subject, the body, very often. But my last body of work, called Portrait de mon père Paul, it actually photographed a place. So.
And this is one of your most important pieces. It's a self-portrait.
It's a self-portrait. I think, yeah, it's a significant work in my work. It's called Vitruvian Me, so it is inspire or make reference to the Vitruvian Man from Leonardo da Vinci that was done in 1490. And that was studying the perfect proportion of the body. And the original pieces, if you look over in the gallery or on the web, you'll see that it was a drawing. And it was a drawing of a man, and you'll see that there was a square and a circle drawn around the posture. So I recreate, so this is me that I had represented using a scanner. So instead of using I use the scanner not to copy document, but actually as a camera. So the way I created this work is that I scan my body by 4 by 4 inches on the scanner and repeat the action until I get the body part perfect, so it's lined up with the next one, in order to reconstruct the images as the Vitruvian Man. And so you could see that here the pieces is made, I think, over 50 different scans that I put back together into Photoshop. So one, I guess, there's that difference. So we have a drawing, I suppose, as an original piece, and now we have a photograph made from a scanner. I call it Vitruvian Me as opposed to Vitruvian Man, and I didn't call it Vitruvian Woman. And that's very important to me because it talks about a sort of a more global understanding of the body as something perhaps more personal, but that I'm sure every person can relate to that. Somehow we all live in our own body, and I could not know what another feels like. It's something that is very personal.
So how did you feel working with your own image, your own body?
Well, it was very interesting because if we look at other body of works from before that is in this room, I had photographed since 1998 a lot of, I started working with model, and after it was more like people that I know, and they were photographed naked, and I took photographs of them. And for the first time, I took my body for this piece. And I think that as an artist, in the creative process of doing that piece, the creator, in doing the work, you get a really different perspective of things, and allows me also to explore the relationship between the body and technology. Because the scanner, I became at some point, I felt I was the slave of the scanner. I had to get everything perfect. I had to repeat and do it again and again. And it was quite a laborious process because I was aiming for perfection to get it all together. And physically in the space, I could not put the scanner, for example, vertical because it doesn't work. It works on a track and it has to be down on the table or on the floor. So the whole, it's kind of funny when you think about it. Like I was in the studio, it's completely dark. You could imagine I'm trying to place myself correctly to get the piece of my, part of my body that will match the next. So it's kind of ridiculous in a way, but it's kind of a reflection for me also in how this relation between body and technology.
And you seem to rely a lot on contrasts.
On contrast, yes. Well, as this one is on a black background, I had a black velvet over my body, so I get everything black, so we're looking at the part that are closer to the body, because obviously the rest of the black was created in Photoshop as extending the black. But any black that is around my body, you could even see here I was breathing when I was on the glass. So here, this is done on a scanner. So my body is pressed right against the glass of the scanner, and that's why it's so flat and you can see so many details, because you cannot be, it's the closest you can be. And the scanner doesn't have any depth of field, so you could see that it gets really out of focus really quickly, and where the belly, you could see it very well how sharp it is because it's right against the glass. So you get all the body that really signify the B-dimensional aspect of the image because it's right flat physically onto the glass.
Yes, yes.
And I thought of that piece in, well, I find a reference to in reflection about our understanding of the body. To make reference to Leonardo da Vinci, thought was an interesting way of getting this work done.
And I think you're showing in another piece right here. Is it
Yeah,
here?
this is from the same series. The series is called Les mots non dits, which I could not really, like it's French meaning the pain not tell, but mot is also as, mot as an homonym, mot is words, but mot in French as an homonym is also pain. So I like the play between the words and something you feel too, and our understanding of the relationship to the images we create around us, but also as the physical experience of the body too. So these images were created, I had scan, MRI, magnetic resonance imaging made of my body. I went to a private clinic as an artist and not a patient, and I had the idea of creating self-portraits with those medical images, because I find that, so that's what you see here. The body was scanned in 5 pieces, and you'll see in other pieces why. That's why, if you look at this one, I'm divided in, is it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5 pieces. It's because the scanner could just cover a certain area. So I had the scan of my head, my torso, and so on. So when I put the image back together, I kept it as it was captured by the machine and creates this figure that looks like it's broken in 5 pieces. But it's actually the process that I created that. You could see it through this one very well too. And when I started to use it, I use a medical program called Ozeric, which is what the doctor used to, because an MRI is its fine slice of your body from different directions, front to back, bottom to top, and so on. And then a very, very fine slice, so we can see all the inside of your body. And then in this program, they put it all back together to visualize it in 3D. So doctor, what they could do is put these images together and then slice it in every direction to see what's happening in your body. So I used that software, and I was really, I could say, shaken by how, when I put it through this program, as you could see here, it looks almost like he's been cut literally with a knife or a harder tool of some kind of chainsaw, perhaps. And that's created because when you put it back together, the scan has stopped there. And I thought it was really strange because I was working those images, and I thought it's almost like it was like working with a cadaver in a way. It's like, and I guess I did express that really strongly to this image, and that's why I use color. So I just expressed what I was going through when I was looking and observing my own body and creating these images, and yeah, I responded to that.
It's a very strange feeling to look at your body as if it's lifeless.
Yes, it is. It is. And the other thing that was happening too is that I worked a lot with these images. So instead of actually taking photograph of real people in front of me, I work on the computer for hours and hours and hours and hours. And at some point I started to think, wow, it's like I cannot have the sense of what a body is anymore. I'm just living in that virtual spaces, and that makes you think of beyond the medical area of field. So I think a piece like this one, it was a response to that, because I felt like there was this disconnection to what it is to be human, and I just want to express it. So it turned out to be pretty dramatic. which is, we could see that this aspect is recurrent. And this piece is not hung yet, so it's not in the right order, but we could look at this one. Part of it is, it should be up there. But I look, that was in 2005, and I'm very interested in Kyo.
It's a triptych, right?
Yes, so it's one person that is in 3 parts.
Yes.
And the 3 parts, the intention of that, it was to create, I did it because this is a series of photos called Between Self and Other that I did in 2005. And I photographed people that had radical change of their body due to burn, surgery, accident. As one individual had serious burn mark or burn, is that right?
Yes.
It, right? Or they had a stroke, so they had a surgery also for that, or have a retention of water in their legs. So different things that they go through that is difficult physically. And this is a friend of mine, Marina, and that was for the wear and tear of the body. She's 90 years old. And it was important for me that I didn't want people to look at the image and objectify the body, or, I mean, that's something it's hard to not do with a photograph, but at least not seeing them as a victim or monstrous. And in order to do that, I thought, well, if I do it in 3 panels, it will give some kind of impression of movement of the body, will add to the subjectivity of the body as supposed to be something fixed in space. So when the panel is up, you will be able to see that her hands is on the first frame. It's like right beside her, like this, on the side. But on the next one, it's beside her body, so it had moved. And also you could see how her legs had shift also. So using it like a body in motion more. And I think, and also you'll notice that I use a very chiaroscuro lighting, which is quite to add to the expression of the body and I think looking at I think in order to be expressing a sense of an experience that the body goes through, I find that the chiaroscuro, which is a reference to the Baroque and also la Renaissance, is more appropriate than if I would use more like a documentary or a clinical lighting.
Is that why you're using large sizes as well? Because the Baroque, they were using large sizes.
Yeah, and it's the relationship with the viewer too. It's like in order to have the individual, I have a sense of respect for them, to give them some dignity, giving them a presence in space. I find that the size really contribute to that and allows you also to, yeah, it's more like life size, but in this case, it's even bigger than life size, for sure.
So are you trying to, by exacerbating the size, are you trying to make us aware of the pain, the suffering, the certain aspects of life or death? Yeah, well, I'm very, in all my work, I was interested in, our human condition, our common condition. And I certainly, one of the things I was really aware of with this body of work is that I didn't want to say that we could feel what they went through, because I think it's a very personal experience and I cannot represent what they went through. So what I hope to achieve with the size and the way that I did it is that once you see this image, you're in that space in a gallery, you're able to take your time and reflect on your own existence as that human condition, and not necessarily thinking that this is just for other, but you're starting to think for yourself, your self-experience, and what it's like. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more here.
Yes, that's even an earlier body of work. I have 2 images here. There's this one on this wall, and then the legs that are right there, suspended in the black abyss. And that's an earlier body of work called The Silence of Being, where I have photographed models. I work at models at the time that were posing for different schools, for drawing, for practicing drawing or painting. So I work with them, and I have photographed them in complete darkness. And I use a process in these images called cross process. I was using the negative for these, and essentially it's to process the negative in the wrong chemical. And what it does is actually accentuate all the details of the body, or any tiny little wound or bruises that would be on the body would really pop out, really be accentuated. And and you could see also how the color is shifting also. It's almost like the legs are made of bronze. You have this beautiful bronze color that's happening. And for me, using that process and the darkness that is in the back and the unconventional poses, because I remember when this model poses for me, she said, "You're always asking for poses that nobody asked for. It's so, you know, not things I had done before," because I was really searching poses that it's not things we had seen before to think of our condition. And I wanted to have a presence. I was looking for a presence in the space, and that you started to think about this experience of living in the body, that it's really communicated to the, in this case, the appearance of the body, but that not necessarily refer to it, but goes beyond that in more an expressive manner in speaking about being. And that's why it's called the silence of being.
Your work is pretty silent.
That's interesting you say that, Lina, because when I present that show, The Silence of Being, the first time was at Gallery 101 in Ottawa, and I had all these images set up on the second floor. There was 2 levels of 101, so you had to go up the stair. And then the way I install it, I paint all the wall black, and I think there's 20 pieces, and they were all presented at different height, and I had really focused light on every bodies. And so when you walk inside, you have the impression that the bodies were just floating in space. They were like un éclatement du cadre, like an absence of the frame. And at the opening, there was another opening in the same time of Cheryl Peckeret downstairs. Every single person that would come in the space during an opening, you could imagine, Lena, it's busy, there's a lot of people talk. Every time they would come in the space of the silence of being, everybody was just
Whispering.
I was so pleased. I didn't write, that it was nothing on a one thing, it's just the atmosphere. And as you said, the sense of, how did you say it? Quietness?
Silent.
Silence.
Very silent.
The sense of silence, the peace we're just creating and people were responding to it. So that was just a magical moment.
Although it is silent, I cannot say that it's tranquil.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not tranquil.
Yes, not tranquil at all.
Yes.
No. And I think in my work, there's always these two tension between something that it's calm but is really distressing, perhaps, or there's a great tension in the work. But
yes.
Always, and you could think of pleasure and pain, or as you say, sign, but not. So there's opposite if needed.
And there's more here?
Yes, so this is a body of work. As you can see, you would say, wow, where are the bodies?
Yes.
Yes. But it is, believe it or not, really related to existence and life. And one of the things recurrent as a theme in my work is mortality too. This work was created after my dad passed away suddenly in 2011. And my dad was a man that was working a lot with his hands, and he was really a creative passion. He was really perseverant in what he was doing, and he had a garage, as you could see, a double-door garage, where he was doing all his work. And after he passed away, I thought, there's not a better medium to hold, because when I was looking to his shop, I was just like, his presence was everywhere in that space. And because he died so suddenly, he was using that space. Like in 6 months, he passed away from the time he was diagnosed to the time he died. So the shop is still like, he was still in that space because he was using it like just 6 months or even like just before he died. And in the space, you will notice things like, look, there's this writing that he put onto the furniture on which he was storing his tools or material that he had. And I always find that the writing is so, I mean, it's a contact of his hand onto that surface, and I recognize his writing that I've seen from as a child. The furniture that you see there, this is that, I had that in my bedroom. It was my dresser. It was the wedding dresser of my parents, but I had this part in my bedroom, and they had this part in their bedroom, and the top is the kitchen. So he was repurposing or reusing. So all these different things in space, for me, really speak of the individual, the choice that they make in terms of what they put in the space to organize, the way they organize, the tools that they add, the mark that they leave on the surface. And those are just a few examples. What else? This was a corner that he works a lot. Like it was his, and my dad was always doing his own. He had a fireplace and cutting his wood for his house, for heating the house. And this is his chainsaw, which he was using all the time. You can see there's some more close-up here too of the area, of that area over there, like close-ups. You've seen the chainsaw again, all the metal that he was recycled in a big shovel, like when you push the snow, which is going to come soon.
And it's so quiet.
Yes, and it's so interesting to see this work in this space because it's really a space, I mean, it's in honor of my dad, and my dad always supported what I was doing. He was really proud of me, and he didn't miss a show, the one I had done as an artist. He was really interested in what I was doing. So for me, it's really symbolic to have his shop now in the gallery.
So what happened to the shop? Is it still
It
there?
has been changed completely. All the things have been taken out of the space, and now, so it's pretty much empty now because things were given away to the family. So the state has completely. So that's what's incredible about photography. It allows you to photograph, to hold things in time and reflect. In this case, of a life of an individual. And I really, for me, this really talk about the existence of my father to what he was doing as opposed to photographing his face and how physically look, his physical appearance, all the marks that he has left or the traces in that space speak of him.
It's interesting, you have no photos of him here.
No.
But we feel his presence.
I hope so. I hope so. And the other thing I really hope with this work is that, it's very personal work, but in the meantime, like we could look at his toolbox there, we could see his writing again. I really hope, I did it in a way that, like the other work I did before, people could have a reflection about the people they have around them, or a member of the family that would have or something similar as a shop or a places where they do things and they can reflect for themselves about how a space can talk about people.
And at the end of this room, I saw a projector with
Yes,
your work.
I wonder if it's running.
Yes,
The
it's
sound-
running.
Oh, the sound is missing now. We will need to turn it on because the sound is really important. So
Music or what is it?
No, it's actually, maybe we could ask, it's actually the machine, like, okay, this work is created with, first of all, what you see unfolding, the images on the screen, like on the surface, like this, those are the MRI that I had done when I went to the private clinic, that it's unfolding on the top of my body. This is my body, and all the square that is here are all individual 2 minutes video that I did of myself standing in my studio. So I started with my face, I did part of my face, I went up there. So a bit the same process of Vitruvian Me, but using the video camera and capturing all my body in 2 minutes pieces. Then, using a video software, I put it back together to rebuild my body, but unfolding during that 2 minutes. So those are all 2 minutes segment that I took, and then after that put back together.
So what was the biggest challenge with this technique?
This technique, I guess it's again to aim. Oh, and I would like aim as much as I can to have all my body, how could I say, recorded and all these different pieces that reconstruct my body. which I never had pose in that pose. This is something is completely a construction because I had to take a little segment, move back to the camera, adjusting, coming back, take the other piece, the same as the Vitruvian Me. And the sound, which is very important on this piece, is I record, when I went to the clinic to have the MRI done, I record the sound of the MRI machine. So you could hear all the noise that's happening when you actually have the scan made. And also you hear the technologue. At some point her phone rings and she answers her phone. And then that's part of it too. So it's quite important because it's very mechanical, the sound that comes out of this piece. And on the top, this is all the scan, the different slice of the MRI, that unfolding, one on the top or one behind the other. See, as you get closer to the surface of the body, you have just certain part of the body that is actually showing.
So this show opens this week
Yes, it opened Friday on the 12th,
with
which
the
is this
award
week.
reception.
The official ceremony awards start at 6, but the door open at 5:30, and it goes on up to 7:30. And the show is up until the 19th of October.
Chantal, thank you so much.
Thank
and,
you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, Lina.